This month we're going to work on an arrangement of More Than Words by Extreme. This was selected over at Patreon, and so if you want to check it out and become a part of it so that you can help vote on next month's song and even decide which song we're going to do, be sure and check it out down below, where you can also find the tabs to this as well as all the other different lessons that we do here on the channel. But let's go ahead and dive right in. So to start, this song has a pretty iconic intro section, and we're going to be making use of that right here with the tab. So to kick it off, we're going to play what's called a G5 chord. Now G5 is going to be your index finger here on the second fret of the C string, middle finger here on the third fret of the E, and pinky here on 5 of the A. We're going to pluck as we do this, so we're going to be using our strumming hand to individually pluck the strings. I like to use my thumb on my G and my C strings, my index on my E string, and my middle finger on my A string. And as I do this, I'm going to pluck the C string to start. You'll see just the 2 there. Then I'm going to pluck the E and the A together. And then for these all X's, instead of a normal chunk, which is something we might typically do, I'm instead going to take these fingers and actually just smash the strings with them, just like this. Sometimes you can actually use the nails of the fingers to get a little bit more of a click as you're going down. And you can even actually hit the wood or just hit the strings. It's however you want to create that sort of percussive pop. So far we have. After we do that, the fingers should be ready and go in that same place. And they'll play the C string again, then the E and the A again, and then the pop again. And then I'm going to play my G string with my thumb. And that's the whole first measure. And from a timing perspective, it should sound something like this. As we go to the next measure, I'm simply going to remove my index finger and leave the middle where it is and the pinky where it is. And we'll play the exact same thing with my playing hand here. So it'll be C string, E and A, mute, C string, E and A, mute, then just the G string. So that measure is. Then from here it's going to go to an A minor chord. We can just take this index finger, place it on the second fret of the G string, leave the other 3 strings all open. I'm going to play my C string again, E and A, mute, C, E and A, mute, then the G. And then the last measure of this little intro section is going to go back to this 0035. So place the middle finger back on the 3rd fret of the E string and the pinky finger here on the 5th fret of the A. We're going to play C and then E and A, do the mute. And this is where it changes a little bit. From here, we're going to play a D chord. Now I like to play my D with my index finger barred across my G, C, and E strings, just like this. This is a tricky way to do a D chord because I have to make sure that I'm getting my A string to still ring open. So it requires quite a bit of flexibility in the finger. This is sort of like doing yoga, so it might take a little while, even though it might feel impossible right now. Through some practice and gaining more flexibility, you will be able to do it. And like my right finger barely bends, my left bends real well because I've got more flexibility from practice in this hand. But if it's too difficult as you're trying to play the song, it's okay to play the D chord like this with your index, middle, and ring fingers here on the G, C, and E strings. Really, any way you want to play a D chord should work. And what we'll do here is we're going to play the D, we're going to play just the C string, and then the E and the A. And then we're going to play the 3rd fret on the E string and do a pull off to the 2nd fret of the E. So if we're playing the D chord like this with this bar, just adding the middle finger, playing it, and doing the pull off works great. If you're doing it this way, you could instead do a slide and slide the ring finger down, or even use your pinky and pull off to that 2, as long as you're getting that 3 and that 2. So that last measure is. So now the whole intro is. Pretty cool sound. Now, you can play that and repeat that and sing the song if you'd like to, which is a lot of fun to do if you like singing. But you came here because you want to learn the solo instrumental version. So let's go ahead and look at the first measure of the lyrics going through. You'll notice that the tab will have the lyrics shown here. So as we're working on it, feel free to be following along with the words. We're going to kick off with just playing that same first chord, playing the C and then the E and the A strings. That's just sort of kicking it off with this G chord vibe. Then we're going to start with say and I. And to play say and I, we're going to take off our pinky, make sure that we're barred across all the way on the second fret of the C, E, and A strings. Middle finger should be here on 3 of the E. And we're going to strum through the whole chord. And that's say. Add the pinky on 5, in, I. And what I'm doing there is I'm playing the 5 a second time, and then I'm going to do a pull off. So I'm actually physically pulling the finger downward and plucking the string so that it makes the sound on the 2 on the A. Again, with this bar, it's very important to make sure that you're creased over all 3 strings so that you get that good tone on the A string. So that first measure is say in I. Next measure, love you, is, it's going to be the pinky on 7 of the A, love. And then for you, we're going to actually take our ring finger and place it here on the 5th fret of the A string. So we go from 7 on the A with the pinky to 5 on the A with the ring. And then we're going to play that again. So we have love you is. Now the next measure here, we're going to go not the words I want. To play the word not, we're going to take our middle finger, place it on the 5th fret of the E string, and leave our ring finger here on 5 of the A. Strum all the way through, not. And now we're going to move our pinky back up to 7 for the, back off to 5 for words, and then again on 5, I. And then we're going to remove our middle finger to have all open 5 on the A for want. So that measure is not the words I want. And now I just love this next measure, the last measure of this section here. We're going to play 7 on the A with our pinky for 2, and then for here we slide the pinky down to 5 and add the index finger to bar all the way across 2. Here, then we're going to play 3 on the A with our middle finger, and then U, we're going to move to that same chord that we were playing at the very beginning of the song, that sort of G5, 0, 2, 3, 5. So that last measure sounds like to hear from you. Right? So you'll notice that as we're working through this, the chord shapes are somewhat similar to what we were playing in the intro. And that's because these two parts can actually happen at the same time. So if you want to do something like a loop track, it can be really fun to just sit there and go. And along with that, have the melody of. Right, and what I'm doing there is I'm foregoing the chords to just play the melody, which is what I would probably do if I were looping it. So kind of a fun little thing to look at. But you don't have to loop it. That's the design of this arrangement, is we can play both the chords and the melody together all at once. So let's go ahead and look at the next line here. We're going to measure 9. We're now going to do, it's not that I don't want, or it's, yeah, not that I don't, is this next measure here. We just played this chord here. So we're going to follow by just taking off the pinky, playing 2 on the A string twice, then 5 on the A twice, then 2 on the A. So just holding this shape, adding the pinky back on and off. It's not that I don't. Then from here, we're going to go to 7 on the A, all open otherwise, want, and then again with the ring finger on 5 of the A, you. So those two measures are, it's not that I don't want you. Going from here, it's then going to go, not to say, but. You'll notice I just added my middle finger here on 5 of the E, strummed all the way through, then played 5 on the A for to say, but. and then I'm going to take that middle finger off, go all the way through with the ring finger for if. And then you only knew, you is going to be pinky on 7. Own of only is going to slide pinky down to 5, add the index to bar across 2, strum all the way through. That's own, and then Lee is going to be 3 on the A, pull off to 2. So you'll notice I'll play that note, I'll pluck the string, making sure I've got a good connection with this bar to get that A string ringing. Lee. And then on new, we're going to play an E minor, but we're not going to play an E minor in our typical sense. What we're going to do is we just came from this D. So we're going to take this index finger, move it down a little bit so that you see the G string is now open, but the other 3 strings are fretted on the 2nd fret. Then we have my ring finger here on the 4th fret of the C string, my middle finger here on the 3rd fret of the A or E string. So I have 0, 4, 3, 2, where normally I just have that finger there, but I'm going to keep it barred because it's easier to get to when you look at that whole part. So if I play those 2 measures, not to say, but if you only knew, it looks something like this. So you see how the index finger didn't have to move as much. So you can be a lot of little fretting habits like that, where it's just a good idea to build up the comfort with this because it's so much more efficient than it would be go and making all that movement. So now into measure 13, what we're going to play here on 13 is E minor again. We're going to play this nice and soft because you'll notice there are no words on this E minor chord. Anytime we have no words, we want to make sure that we're playing it truly as harmony because melody is going to have words, harmony is going to be all the other stuff, and having that volume differential of the melody being louder helps makes your instrumental arrangement sound more professional because you're giving the listener something to hold on to with a louder melody. So we play that E minor nice and soft, and then we play how, and all that is 0 on the A and then 2 on the A. And with that 2 on the A, you can play this in a couple different ways, but when you're coming from this E minor, and then you play 0 and 2, I actually like to use the middle finger here, because the next chord is going to be an A minor with my index finger on 2 of the G and my ring finger here on 3 of the A. So if I play 0 and then 2 with the middle, it sets that up nicely. And that's E, Z. So those 2 measures are how, E, Z. Now from here, a little bit tricky, we're going to take this index finger, we're going to bar it across and slide it up to the 5th fret. And then we're going to take our middle finger and place it on the 6th fret of the C string. And we're going to strum through all of that, and that will be it. And then 7 on the A with the ring, 5 on the A with the bar still there, 5 on the G. And if you're playing a high G, that's going to be the right note. If you're playing a low G, you could substitute 8 on the E instead. But 5 on the G for high G players. And then we're going to go down to a G chord. So we can keep this bar here, and we can just slide it down and over in the same way we've been doing the G chord throughout the song, with more of that bar. Instead of our normal G chord, this one's more efficient when we're moving off those bar chords. Then we'll play the 2A again. And for this B minor here, pretty simple. We just take this middle finger off, play the C, E, and A strings, and play 5 on the A with the pinky. And then big jump here. We're going all the way up to 0, 11, 0, 10. So what I like to do is use these 2 middle fingers here, but you can use a couple different ones. I like to jump with my ring finger up to 9 on the C, and then take my middle and place it here on 10 of the A. So we have 0, 11, 0, 10. Now the reason I like this one is we actually use this exact same shape in another tutorial video, and if you know which one it is, leave a comment down below, because I really like the C minor. I've used it before. And this is the fingering that we used in the previous video, but if you want to look at another way of doing it, you can use your index and middle, index on 10 of the A and middle on 11 of the C. The nice thing about that version is we can just sort of slide this index finger up to position, and that's going to be feel. So those two measures, it would be to show me how you feel, would be something like this. It would be to, and then slide down, show me how you feel. Going right on ahead, we've got more than words. If all you have to do to make it real, which we're really getting into the main heart of the song now, we're going to play 7 on the A string. So we just came from this here. It doesn't really matter which version we use for this next chord. It's okay to essentially place your pinky finger here on 7 of the A for more than, and the reason is we're going to play words with our 5 on the E with the middle finger, words. This is the same way we've been playing that same chord throughout the song so far. So we have more than words. Then we can use our index finger here and play 3 on the A twice. And then that's going to be if. So those two measures are more than words, if, and then we're going to slide the index finger up to bar across 5 on at least the E and the A strings. Take the middle finger, place it on the 6th fret of the C string. Then take your pinky finger and place it all the way up to the 9th fret of the A string. And we're going to strum through that for all. And then we're going to play 9 on the A again for U. And then half is going to be the 7 on the A with the ring finger. And back up to 9, 2. And for 2, we actually like to do this little slide up to 10. And then from the slide up to 10, notice how I took my fingers off, right? I'm going to take this index finger barred all the way across the 7th fret of all 4 strings. And then I'm going to take my middle finger and place it on the 8th fret of the A string, just like if I were doing a D7 chord, only much higher. It's creating a G7 chord. And I play through that for do. So we have all you have to, and then do. And then to make it real, we play the 8 on the A twice, to make, and then we go up to 10 with the pinky, it. Still have our middle finger, here on 8 of the A. We take off the pinky and we strum through this. And what we do is we strum through all open on 8, and then I do a pull off down to fret 7. So that whole set of 2 measures, all you have to do to make it real, looks something like this. We have all you have to do to make it real. Now moving right along, we go to the next page here if you're looking at the tab. We're going to play 5-3, and I like to slide down ring finger on 5 for then, and then index finger here on 3 for you. So then you slide the index all the way up to 10 on the A, add the middle finger here on 11 on the E to create a really pretty C minor chord, and strum that for wood. And then for int, of wood int, you play the 11 on the E by itself. And then for have, we're going to slide that down to 10 on the E. And then for 2, slide it down yet again to 8, still on the E. So those 2 measures are going to be, then you wouldn't have to. And then we're going to take this middle finger here on 8. We're going to slide it down to 3 and rebuild our G chord that we've been using. So the bar across the C, E, and A strings. That middle finger, though, you'll see doesn't have to come off the ukulele from the 8 on the E. It just needs to slide right down. We're going to play say. For say, we've got the pinky here on 5, just like we've played earlier. Then 2 on the A by taking that pinky away, making sure we've got a good connection with the bar. And then we're going to play that, you. And then for love, what we're going to do is take this bar and move it up. We're only going to move it up 1 fret. We're going to add our middle finger here on 4 of the C and add our ring finger here on 5 of the A. So we have 0, 4, 3, 5. So we could play that just like this, but by keeping the bar there, we just get really efficient with it. Say, that you, and then just slide it up one, love, and then me. For me, we're going to play 5 on the A, then stretch the pinky up here to 7 on the A. And then we're going to play cuz, which is still that 7 on the A. So those two measures look something like this. Say that you love me, and then cuz. And here's the climax of the song that I'd already know. I really like this part. We're going to go up to that same A minor we've played before, the 5 on the E string with our middle finger, the pinky here on 7 of the A, play through all 4 strings, and that's I'd, and then play the 3 on the A, all, so I'd, all. Then we're going to slide up to 6 on the C string with the middle finger, 5 on the E and the A strings with a little mini bar there, and then pinky on 9 of the A. We're going to strum through just the C, E, and A, red. And then for D, we just take off the pinky, leaving the index bar, D. And then to end the song, we go down to a G chord, or rather to be able to repeat the song. So you'll notice with this tab here, it can go to this G for the first ending, and then repeats. But for the second ending, it just goes up to this 7, 7, 7, 10. So bar all the way across 7, and 10 on the A string. So what's cool about this is when you do the repeat, you can go back and do the intro again. You can start with the melody. You can kind of intermix some of the parts. What's funny about the original is over 5 minutes, but it's not a lot of different stuff. It's just a lot of repetition. And so feel free to sort of make your own arrangement as you're working on this. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the description, in the comments below. In the description below, you can find that Patreon channel that I mentioned where you can download the tabs to this, as well as all of the other different lessons that we've done. And every month we do a new song vote, and on that song vote, everybody suggests songs. I kind of look through them, see what I think would make a good ukulele track, and I set up a poll, and everyone decides on what song they want to do for that month. So if you haven't checked it out already, please do. Otherwise, I'll see you guys next month for another episode of this song tutorial series, and I hope you have a wonderful month. This is November's lesson, and so for everybody that's watching this in December, I hope you have a wonderful holiday season, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks.